on your mark, get set, start your day.
Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. It says we're live now. Okay. So I will be showing you how to make a pop-up template on WordPress today. Um, I'm going to be showing you from my screen. Give me 1 second and let me share the correct screen. It always does this. All right. There we go. So now you get to see what I'm working with. And in a moment, I'm going to take myself off just to kind of start everything. My name is Angelique, and I am working on New Beginnings Church website layout. And um, what I've done here to kind of give you an insight is I made little pop up templates so that it's a lot smoother for um, the group once they're on here, they really don't have to leave this area or this page. Everything's all in one. So I started by doing the volunteer template. on here. And we're just going to kind of take this template and we're going to do a similar one for a prayer request. But I'm going to show you how to do this type of template going the into today's. So we're going to do the prayer request, and I still have the benevolence request to do, but we're going to start with the volunteer form. And since we already know, I mean, the prayer request form, since we already know this is the volunteer form and we have that layout right here where it's a picture of the church helping in the background with the form there, as well as asking them to download what they need right here so that they can grab it. So we're going to do the same type of layout. We're just going to do it for the prayer request, and then we're going to save it as a template going forward. Although I already have one saved, I'm going to just show you how to do those. So the first thing first is to go to the back end so that we can edit the prayer request. So I'm going to go to the back of the WordPress, and that way we can edit um, the prayer request pop-up template. And it's already one in here, but I'm actually going to just redo it so that way you can see exactly how to do it. All right. So first things first is to come down, and right here where it says templates, it has pop-ups. So we're going to go right there to pop-ups. And then let me go ahead and take myself off so that way you can really see all of the screen because I'm not sure exactly where it puts the camera. All right. So now that we're in pop-ups, of course, we have all our little pop-ups here that we can edit, adjust, and rearrange. So we're going to do add new. And like I said, I already have a prayer request. So we're going to do another one. And I'm just going to put an in behind it so that way I know it's the new one. So we're going to create the template. Yay. All right. While it's loading up, I'm going to take this one and go back here to the volunteer form so that way we can kind of have a look at what we're working with. Okay, so just to kind of let you know, I did use a template for this one. So we're going to use that same template just to get the same results. Um, so as you can see, they have plenty of pop-up templates for you so that you can get active and involved on your website and make it really fun and grab that information that you need from your audience. Okay, so I grabbed the template that I was using, which is this one. And we're gonna come in here and we're gonna change a few things because as you can see, this is a login. So I don't need a login. Um, so the first things first is to change the background. We're gonna start with that, something simple. So we will go to the settings, which is right here in the corner. And then we would come to the style and we'll go to the image in the pop-up and we're going to put our image in that we have. So let's scroll down and find our lady working. Okay, I'm sorry. This is prayer requests. I'm sorry. No, we're not going to find our lady working. We're going to find our prayer hands. Um, so I have this one, which is really cool, but it's more of people touching than a prayer hand. And then I have, where'd my young lady go? Um, I have a young lady, if I can find her. She has prayer hands. Oh, there she go. I didn't pass her up. I'm sorry. All right. So there go my lady. As we can see, she's kind of blurry. So I'm actually not going to work with her. Um, all right. So let's go with this one for right now. And that's pretty cool. Not too bad. But we're going to take that one for right now until I get another little praying lady. All right. So now that we have our prayer lady, we actually don't need this. We're going to exit out of that because I don't need that. Um, so we're going to add some columns in here. So the first thing first is to add the form. And if you already work with the form, just to kind of let you know, you you can use these. They have different forms: Gravity forms, Mailchimp forms, We forms, WP forms, all of those. As of right now, I'm creating the forms without any connection to Mailchimp or anything because we have Mailchimp hooked up through the back end another way. So if I wanted to, I could do this here and put that up there, but it's easier for us if we just do it this way for our church. So and that's also because you may be working, I'm sorry, you may be working with a team. So you just do what's best for your team rather than um, sometimes what's easier for you because sometimes they don't have certain things in place and that could make it a little bit challenging as you go forward. So right here, we're going to put, give me 1 second. We're going to put the prayer request. And as you can see, it's coming out blue. And that's mainly because on my other end, um, a lot of our font is blue. But on here, we're going to change it to the white. And then we're going to make it a little bit bigger. All right. So of course I'm gonna go into my section in 1 second. I'm just gonna grab exactly what I need for this prayer request form from our old website. Okay, so I have the name, which mind you will actually split into two, only because some people just really won't put their full name. They'll put their first name or their last name, but they may not put both. So we're gonna put first, and we can put John. And then here we'll put last, and then we'll put Smith. Okay. And then for the email, of course, it'd be mm, nbcfm@gmail.com. It's just a template just to put something, just to kind of let them know exactly what is supposed to be there. I can always change that later on, which is a good thing. Okay, so for the message, we're going to put prayer request. Okay, so now we have somewhat of the basics. We just need a few more slots. So right here, we need a follow up. What's it? And this is going to be a select, and it's actually required as well. I'm going to put email, phone, and no. All right. All right. So for this section, because it's so wide, when I'm going to loosen that up, but as you can see, like the gaps, we're going to close some of these row gaps. Not closing. Well, I want to close some of these up, but it also could be the labels. So let's look. Ah, so the labels wasn't showing because of the color, and that's fine. We'll just do this, which we'll need to lower anyway, which is good. All right. and see it's not giving that. All right. So if you're trying to give your column just a little bit more space, you can also come up here and change the width. So that way you do have um, a little bit more room to just play with. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get this just a bit more space. Okay. And then as well, this up to right here. And then we're gonna add a phone number. And just to keep it one of the same. All right. So 214, 4. Okay, I just made up a number. Um, okay, phone number is not requested. So we're going to save draft. And the reason for that is because, as you can see, I moved the phone number, but it didn't move. So we're just going to refresh. Sometimes you just need to save it and then refresh, and then make sure that you're saving anyway as you're going along, because that definitely will save you a lot of time going forward. If something messes up, you can also go back in the history and also change it. So you can always go to like revisions and revert back. Okay. So never be afraid to just play around in here, because once again, you can always go back and revert. Okay. So since we've made that shorter, now there we go. Okay. Let me make this. Oh, all right. So for the email, we're going to change that to 50. And the follow-up requests, those aren't too big, so we're going to change those to 25. Okay. All right. And then, of course, we still got some adjusting to do. We'll do that 1 second. Just want to make sure I have everything in here. So I have prayer requests. I have the first name, last name, email address, phone number, follow-up selected, and the message. And then, of course, we're going to come down to the buttons and we're going to hit submit. Okay. So it has a little bit of text here. Um, I did the graphics for the last um, website. So the way this is on here, it's a graphic. Um, the only thing is I'm not going to use those same graphics, because a part of us doing the website is changing up these graphics, mainly because it was when I first started my business and I was still new. And I think people will definitely be able to see that, seeing the difference from the website, the first one from this one, which I'm glad that we're able to do a new website for my church, because I really have been wanting to do it. Like, seeing as I did their last website, I'm like, I didn't really like it. And I would just love to be able to get in and play and do some new things. And now that we're moving to WordPress, because they were actually on a system called Ecclesia, which is not bad. If you're a church and you're looking to start and you need a website, Ecclesia is a great website developer. However, you have limited flexibility. So like your colors and everything, they literally will be the same going across everything that you do. Um, so you pick one set of colors, it brands the whole site for you. But say you don't like those colors on a certain page, you can't change them. So that's one of the things that I didn't like about Ecalesia, as well as just dealing with some of the features, um, not being able to really change it or make it any kind of other way really didn't help at all to me. But hey, if you're new and you like it, it's perfectly well. I'm just thinking what I'm gonna add. So like a background here for the form would probably be okay, especially because I'm going to be changing this picture. And I know you're probably like, why white? You just changed the text to white, but this is why. Because you make it, yeah, you just make it to where people can see through it, but it gives that overlay. Okay. Um, all right. So, of course, another thing that I can do, because I want this to be a little bit more squished, um, is to try to add an intersection. Okay. I'm actually going to add a new column. You'll see why in a second. Okay. So we're going to put this in here. And now we have that squish form that we're looking for, right? But it's still not great. So we're going to change the column width just a tad bit. Okay. And then we're going to add some padding. Okay. So now we can actually take the overlay off of this form. So we're just going to add it to the background of. So you just come in there and hit clear. So we're going to add this to this area. And that way we still get that overlay right there of the information. So you just come in here and you do the background. I'm gonna make it fully white, and then we're gonna go. See. All right. And so I really don't care for the picture in the background, but it is the picture that is there for right now. And that way, that gives me time to actually go and look for another picture that will work. Um, and I know you're probably like, well, it's a good picture. It is. It looks like someone's praying hands. However, the image is kind of blurred right there, and that's causing a little bit of distortion, and that's what I'm not liking. Um, so I'll find a new prayer picture. Although I do have a man. Let's look and see if he'll work. Oh, sorry. Let's go to the settings here. And then one of the other things before I get too carried away is to bring this X down. Okay. I'm just going to bring it down just a tad bit. And we're going to change the size. Remove it. up just a tad. Over just a little bit more. Okay. And then I'm gonna change the color. Oh, okay. And now we have our close button. We have our form. And we're gonna change the prayer request size. And that will drop the form to actually be aligned. So we'll get that in 1 second. We have our header, we have our subtitles, and let's go to pictures. So one thing I can do is probably do this. I don't like that one either. Sometimes you get pictures and they're not necessarily the best pictures. Not to say that they're ugly, they just don't have the quality or they're not the right size. And that's perfectly fine too. Just also make sure you have some things that you can go in and look. So these are my stock images. I love stock images. Um, so I have my own little array of stock images. You can see I have graphics, all kinds of things. If you can see what I'm actually looking at with my files. Um, but I have different things that I can play with. Um, and then I have the vectors as well. Those are vector stocks. And the reason for that is because if you're like me and you love graphic designs, you should, on any occasion, get a bunch of other people's graphic designs um, and try to play and see if you can recreate what they do. That gives you a tool to kind of gauge yourself and see how good you're doing or how not great you're doing at any point. So I really love it because I put graphics in that I probably want to create for others or do on my own, maybe do something similar. And that's how I come up with my different graphics to kind of gauge on what needs to be done at that time. Okay, so good picture. I don't mind it for now, but it will definitely change. um, But yeah, so that's really good. We're gonna come here. I'm gonna edit the form. We're gonna go to the prayer request, and we're gonna change the size. Let's do 75. Okay. Yay. I gauged that right. And then we're gonna come down here. I'm gonna gauge that to 75. Okay. I'm gonna leave it justified so that way it is the full length. But as you can see now, we're dealing with it going to one side and not going to the other. And that's perfectly fine. You just come in here and see first if there is a way. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Let's do this as well. And the only reason you see that is because this one is actually going to change, but our buttons on here are they have a radius on them, right? So they have that little round center. Everything has a round piece to it. So we're sticking to those round edges as much as possible. Um, I know right here it has a square. Of course, the posters have squares, but all of these will not. So we stick with the rounded. So that volunteer form will change. Last night I was testing a lot of different things on it. So that's why you see it having a little bit of difference. Okay, so success message we're gonna do in gold. Error message we're gonna do in red. And we can put that to black. Okay. And these are steps. If your form has more steps, then you can do that. Of course, for your messages, this is like success message. So you're going to be able to see it on here once they submit. That's why I tried to put something a little bit different, only because I wanted to stand out. And then as well with the red, it's an error. So red should be easy. And then of course for the button, we have the background as the red. I actually am going to change that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change that part of it. And change that to the gold. Um, I have two different codes. Yeah. And that's the reason why I have two different codes is that exact reason because it's hard to see sometimes. Okay. So we could change and give it a hover color. Um, I'm trying to think, do I want to give it a hover color? If any, I'll just do white with, there we go. Okay. So now we have the hover. And then the only thing we got to do is push everything into the middle, right? So we'll come here. You can come up here and we can see about putting it all in the middle. This is one way to kind of align everything. And then you can also come in here. I don't need any of these. I'm just trying to make sure as I go through. So sorry, y'all. I know I need to align and I will be doing that, but I want to make sure that I'm getting all the little pieces like this email is going to change, and make sure that you are updating it as you go, because if you're the designer and you're not updating that, and it's under you, then more than likely you're going to be getting all those messages that should be going to the church or your client. So just be aware of that. So we can always come in here and change after I submit a tester. I can come in here and change it and figure out like what we want to say exactly. But that's also working with my team, which is why I'm not too focused on that part, because with my team, they will have to come up with what they want because she'll be receiving them. So, you know, that's when it comes to working with the team and getting that content that you need. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a radius as well. And now we have our fields and we have our round edges, which we need for our brand. And we have all of our forms in here in play. We have our labels done, which on the other one, just, I think I have it as black. So I'm gonna stick with that. if I'm not mistaken. Go in here. Yep, it's black. And it has the white background just like this. The only thing that's going to change on here, like I said, is the buttons. And then I had to grab a divider. Um, and then the text will change to the colors. I was just trying to make sure I had everything in there the correct way. Sometimes it's easier if you make it different colors. So you can see if things are overlaying in such nature. It helps when you're doing your things, and especially if anything is close with each other. So with the divider, we're going to do a zigzag. There we go. And it's gold. I believe the weight is 5. All right. And then we're going to take some of this gap out of it. And then we pull it up, which is just messing with the margin. And sometimes be careful when you mess with the margin. That's why I say that, is because you'll need the Z index if it overlays or something of that nature. You'll need that Z index to make sure that it's coming out properly. Okay. So now we have our prayer request, we have our subtitle, we have our divider, we have our form, and we just need to give this form. Okay. So of course, if you want to hide it on anything, you can. Sorry. Trying to just mess with the positions. Um, Mainly because I don't want to mess with the margin, but I'm gonna have to. I was trying to avoid that. Uh, which is fine. So this is what I was trying to avoid doing. Yep. All right. So now it's in the middle, which is fine. Um, we have our prayer request, our subtitle, our header. I'm sorry, our divider. And then we have our form. So we have everything on here that's included with this. We're just gonna make the divider smaller, and then we're gonna put the text in the same box because I actually like how everything is contained. And then what we can do on this back end, just to kind of let you know, because this is the background itself, is we can either, cut this part off to where it's not showing, and that shows more of the background, or we can make it a full page to be able to block out everything. So I don't want it to be a full page only because I really want it to be like a pop-up like everything else. And I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. Because as you can see, like this one, this will pop up as well. Um, and it actually brings you here and you can take it off. Okay. So you see how it's giving that space. So that's what we're going to do as well with this one, because everything else, oops, I'm sorry. Everything else is like that, except for the events. That's why I had to hit the back button, because we're going to go to a different page. The events page is actually a page. The ministries page is actually a page. The sermons is actually a page as well. And then about us is an actual page. So those are there. Kind of going to give you just a tad bit of show on here, show and tell. I'm going to go back from here in 1 second. So this is the about us. Lovely, lovely. It has little things down here that I'm still working out, like the core values section I'm going to be adding. Um, then you have, and this is another reason you see me hit back, because I got to fix the header on the about us page. Um, which is not really fixing it, just to kind of let you know. This is the default header. I just have to put it on there. So this is the default header. This is the connect with our ministries. As you can see, the ready to volunteer is core values is going to be a little bit different. It's kind of going to be the same font with the core values, but underneath you're going to have the values kind of like these little particles up here. So the values are going to be lined down there, and they're going to be the values, the word. So it's going to be like a graphic. So that's really why it's so important sometimes to have graphic designers and graphic editors, or people that can do graphics for you on hand, because like these are all graphics that I've created for them, um, which is lovely. It's going to eventually pop out to be a pop out form. So we'll have to do a couple more pop ups with these ministries. So I kind of wanted to show you, as you can see, everything's not done right now, but it looks great and it's coming together perfectly. This is our sermon. It's the HTML code, just to kind of let you know. It brings in all of our sermons that are here. You can search and find one, you know, of the past. You can always go down, search wherever you need to kind of get those um, sermons. And then, of course, you have the events. And then right here, just kind of show you, this is what it would look like. This is also why I said I wanted to work on some of the graphics, because this graphic was one of the ones I did very early on for like the Bible studies, and it's kind of just been there. So like this is going to be updated, um, and then some of these are new. Like that's new. Megan did that. She's amazing. Um, so those are new. That's new. It's just certain ones like that I did when we first started that will change. And then this gift online, this is an image as well, just to kind of let you know. I actually got that because I was doing a prototype for them in Adobe XD. And when you do Adobe XD, you can export all of those graphics that you need. So if you want to learn more about Adobe XD, Elementor, WordPress, make sure you're following me at www.va1agency.com, as well as Ladies of Virtue VA Sisters. Um, you can find me anywhere on Instagram and Facebook as Lika Talks, and that's LIQUETALKS, Lika Talks, because yes, I do talk a lot and I love it. Okay. So that's some of the things I wanted to show you as to why we're still building this out. But since I already have a layout, and I know that like this, I like this layout so far. I like how it is. I'm gonna just adjust a few things. So I told you I like the way that one was with the divider being in there. Um, so now that we have the divider in here, what we're gonna also do is take this out of there, for right now. And we're gonna bring the bottom up. Uh-oh, someone's at the door. Okay. Um, and then we have this to bring over, and then we're gonna bring this over. Okay. So now that we have everything in place, we're gonna move these. So now it looks very similar to the virtual form. And we're just gonna change some more things. But there's someone's at the door and I'm gonna have to stop to go and address them. Just to kind of let you know how to save, hit save as template, put in here prayer request, and then hit save. Okay. So now you have your prayer request, you have it saved in there, and we just walked through how to make it. So, yay! I'm so happy. Look forward to talking and hearing more from you later on. Have a good one. Bye bye.